Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sireesha, and today we're going to be doing a slow flow vinyasa practice. We'll be syncing up our breath with our movements, but we'll be going really slowly, moving thoughtfully with each pose. You won't need anything for this practice. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can get all the latest videos from me, and let me know how this practice went for you in the comment section below. I'll meet you on your mat in a comfortable seated position. You might pick up the flesh of your seat so that you can feel your sit bones root down, and you might sway here from side to side so that you can really feel rooted. And then from that rooting sensation, feel your spine grow tall, feel the crown of your head reach up toward the ceiling, and you can close your eyes down or you can soften your gaze downward to just come into this present moment. Noticing how your body is feeling right now. And then turning inwards, start to notice your breath. Noticing the pace and quality of your breath right now without making any change. Noticing if your breaths are deep or shallow, long or short. And then as you're ready, you can start to deepen your breath. So lengthening out your inhales and smoothing out your exhales. Noticing how your breath is shifting and moving through your body. So as you inhale, feeling your chest and belly expand and fill up with air. And as you exhale, noticing what softens down. You can slowly blink open your eyes and lift the gaze. And on an inhale, we'll roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, release them down by your sides. On an inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, gather your hands together in front of your heart center. 2 more times like that. Inhaling to reach up out of your waist, maybe shifting your gaze upward. Exhaling to bring your hands together in front of your heart center. Last round, moving with your breath, maybe reaching your fingertips up a little bit higher before gathering your hands together in front of your heart center. From here, we're going to come to hands and knees. So your wrists are going to come underneath your shoulders, and your knees are going to come underneath your hips. Press down into all the 4 corners of your palms, your knuckle pads, your fingertips, and as you inhale, shift your gaze up and your tail up as well. As you exhale, round through your spine, shift your gaze towards your navel. Inhale to shift your gaze up, lift your tail. Exhale, round through your spine, send your gaze towards your navel. Continue this movement, matching it with your breath. Taking this opportunity to just warm your spine up for our practice. We'll do 1 more round of this cat-cow movement here. And then we'll meet back in a neutral spine. On an inhale, we'll send the right hand up toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, thread it through. So your right shoulder and your right ear are going to come down towards your mat. Your left hand can stay rooted on the ground, or you can start to walk your fingertips towards the top edge of your mat. Think about sending your seat to the space behind you. And breathe here, noticing how this feels in the spine and the shoulders. If you've walked your hand forward and it doesn't feel good in your shoulders, bring your left hand back underneath you, back in line underneath the shoulder. Take 1 more round of breath here. Press into that left palm, bringing it back underneath the shoulder if it's stretched out. And on an inhale, we're going to unwind, reaching that right hand back up toward the ceiling. Exhale to bring the right hand down to the mat. Your right hand will stay down, and as you inhale, sweep that left hand up. As you exhale, thread it through. Left shoulder, left ear comes down towards the mat. Same option here to keep that left hand planted on the mat, or to start to walk that right hand towards the top edge of your mat. And each side is different. So maybe it feels different on this side than the other. And maybe you can extend here where you couldn't on the other side, or maybe you want to keep that right hand underneath the shoulder. Again, think about sending your seat back in space. Take an inhale here. Full exhale here. And we'll slowly walk that right hand back underneath the shoulder. Press down into the right hand. Inhale, sweep the left hand up. Unwind and send that left hand down to your mat. Reset here. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Root down into your palms and send your right leg back behind you. Flex your right toes towards your shin. And think about dialing that right hip down in line with your left so that I could place a glass of water on your low back and it wouldn't tip over. You can choose to stay here, or if you're ready for more, you can send your left hand towards the front of your space, like you're going to shake someone's hand. Now notice if you're pressing and kind of dumping into your joints, think about energetically drawing in and up, zipping up through your midline and sending your spine up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, round in, knee and elbow touch. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. 2 more times like this. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. Last one. Exhale, round and draw in. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. Bring your left hand down to the mat, and we're going to draw that right foot up in between your hands, finding a lunge. Your back knee is going to stay down. We'll keep the left hand down, and as you inhale, sweep the right hand up toward the ceiling, finding a twist. Work the left shoulder away from your ear, and maybe think about turning your sternum open towards the right, finding the twist from there. Good. As you exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat and bring your right knee back to meet your left. You're back in your tabletop position, and we're going to find a child's pose. So a couple of options here. Your big toes can come together, and you can draw your knees further apart toward the edges of your mat. This is going to work more into your hips. Or you can bring your knees closer together, and this is going to work more into your low back. And you'll start to fold over your legs and bow your forehead towards the mat. Now, if you've got any shoulder tension here, you might soften the reach that your fingertips have towards the top edge of your mat, or maybe even think about drawing your hands alongside your body, fingertips towards the back of your mat. And just breathe here. Listening for the sound of your breath, and letting your breath be your guide for our practice today. If your arms are long down by your sides, start to draw your fingertips towards the top edge of your mat. And on an inhale, we'll walk the fingertips over towards the right edge of your mat. Maybe they come off your mat, and your forehead is still tracking towards the ground here. So it's kind of like a side stretch on the left side of the body, but you're still in a child's pose shape. You might think about sending your left seat closer towards your left heel. And then on an inhale, we'll walk the hands back through center. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat. Maybe your hands come off of your mat. So you're really stretching along the right side of your body. Heavy in your lower body here. Notice maybe the sensation of breath moving in those spaces in between your ribs on your right side body. Good. Inhale, come back through center. Stay for your exhale. When you're ready, no rush at all. We're going to meet back in hands and knees. So taking your time with the transition. And setting your foundation up again, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. When you've arrived and when you're ready, we're going to send that left leg back behind you. Flex your left toes towards your shin. Zip up through your midline, find that engagement. You can choose to stay here, or if you're ready for more, send your right hand towards the front of your practice space like you're going to shake someone's hand. Think about drawing everything into one long line of energy, really pressing into that left palm and your right leg as you send your spine up toward the ceiling. We'll find that movement here. So as you exhale, round in, knee and elbow come together. Inhale, reach and stretch. 2 more times like this, moving slowly. Exhale, round and draw in. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. Last one, exhale, round and draw it in. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. As you exhale, bring that right hand down to plant, and then take an inhale here. Exhale, bring your left foot up in between your hands, finding your low lunge. Your right hand is going to stay down, and as you inhale, sweep your left hand up toward the ceiling, finding your twist on this side. Think about opening through your sternum here, drawing your right shoulder away from your ear, and shining your sternum to the space towards the left side of your mat. As you exhale, bring that left hand down to plank. Send your left knee back to meet your right. And then we'll sit back on our heels and just kind of shake out the wrists here. You might just roll out your wrists here, crack your knuckles. And from here, we're going to come to downward facing dog. So you'll come back to hands and knees, and you'll walk your hands forward towards the top edge of your mat. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back so that you're making an upside down V shape with your body. And you might need to walk your hands backwards or your feet forward to shorten your stance or maybe even lengthen your stance. And the same way that we were in our hands and knees, you're going to think about pressing into all your knuckle pads, your fingertips, the 4 corners of your palms. Your heels may be super far away from the mat, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe bring a gentle bend to your knees. As you press into your hands, think about drawing your shoulders away from your ears and sending your seat higher up toward the ceiling. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale it out through your mouth. On an inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and shift your gaze forward and walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding a forward fold at the top of your mat. Now you can separate your feet about hips width distance apart here, which is 2 fists between your feet. And you'll bend your knees a lot here so that your torso is resting onto the tops of your thighs. We're going to pause here in our forward fold, so you might grab opposite elbows or take your hands to clasp at the nape of your neck. And if it feels right for you, you might sway here from side to side. Allowing the weight of your body to lengthen and stretch your back body. Let the crown of your head be heavy here. Take 1 more round of breath here. Slowly release any clasp you might have, bringing your hands back to the mat. And we're going to slowly roll up to stand, stacking 1 vertebrae at a time. Let your arms and your head be heavy. Your head is going to be the very last thing to come up. Taking your time with this transition. If you're feeling lightheaded at all when you reach the top, tuck your chin in like you're making a double chin. And on an inhale, roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, soften them down by your sides. On an inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, cactus the arms here, bend at the elbows, opening up across your chest. So shoulder blades are kind of reaching towards each other on your back. Inhale, reach both hands back up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Think long spine here, hands somewhere on the tops of your shins or maybe even tops of thighs. Exhale, fold it forward. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Reach your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, cactus your arms here, opening up across your chest. Inhale, reach both hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward, diving back down. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Reach your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. This time, exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. We'll take the hands to clasp at the low back. And as you inhale, reach your knuckles towards the ground. Now, notice if you're locking out in your elbow joint, you might bring a slight tiny bend into your elbows and think about working your shoulder blades together on your back like you're going to crack a walnut. Take an inhale here, maybe shining your sternum up toward the ceiling, and then exhale, fold it forward any amount. Now from here, your hands can stay at your low back, or if you're feeling open through the shoulders, you can reach your arms away from the low back. Wherever you are, notice if your shoulders are still rounding forward, and really work to draw your shoulder blades together on your back. Take one inhale here, full exhale here, and then slowly release the clasp, bringing your hands down towards the ground. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose, top of a push-up here. We're going to hold here for 3 rounds of breath, so you can choose to stay in your plank pose with your knees up, or you can choose to bring your knees down. Either option is available to you. You can also come to forearms. So that was 1 breath. We'll do 2 more rounds of breath here. So drawing your navel in, thinking long spine, maybe shifting your gaze just past the top edge of your mat. And on your exhale, shift forward, lower your knees down if they're not already lowered down, and then lower the rest of your body down onto your mat. We're going to press the tops of the feet down onto the mat and bring your hands to frame your chest. When you're ready, inhale, lift up any amount, cobra pose. Again, thinking about working your shoulder blades together on your back, thinking about a long neck here, so no crinkles or wrinkles, just shifting your gaze forward, and as you exhale, lower down. We're going to do that 1 more time. Press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your chest off of the mat, shoulder blades working together. Exhale to lower. Inhale to press up through hands and knees. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Noticing if there's heat building in the body. Just observing your breath, coming back to those deep full inhales and deep full exhales. On an inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and shift your gaze forward and walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding your forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Reach your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, send your left hand forward, right hand back, opening out towards the right. Inhale, take both hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. Inhale, come back up through center, both hands up. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. And then we'll come back through center and fold it forward. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose, top of a push-up. Take an inhale here. Exhale to shift forward and lower all the way down to your mat. Untuck the toes so the tops of the feet are pressing down. And as you inhale, lift up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up through hands and knees. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath, deep full inhales, deep full exhales. On an inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you. So you're coming into your 3-legged dog here. Noticing here if your right hip is splaying open, and think about bringing it down in line with your left hip. As you exhale, draw your right knee in towards your nose and around through your spine. Inhale, reach that right leg up and back behind you. One more time with this exhale, draw your right knee in towards your nose, around through your spine, and step that right foot up in between your hands. So you're in your low lunge here, but your left knee is lifted. Always an option to bring that left knee down. Your left hand will stay down. Inhale, sweep your right hand up toward the ceiling, finding a twist. Again, same thing here, working that left shoulder away from your ear, opening through your sternum. As you exhale, bring that right hand down to your mat. We're going to rise up to a high lunge, so taking your time, push into your feet and inhale to come up, maybe pausing for a moment, hands on the top of your right leg. And when you found your stance, you can send your hands up toward the ceiling. If you've got any shoulder tension here, think about opening your arms out more into a Y shape rather than hands straight up by your ears. so that you can give a little more room to your shoulders. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, lean forward, send your arms to the back of your space. Inhale, sweep your hands back up to your lunge. One more time like that. Exhale, lean forward, send your hands to the back of your practice space. Inhale, sweep your hands back up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to spin that back heel down, coming into your warrior one pose. So your left toes are at a 45-degree angle to the top left corner of your mat. You can have your feet sort of zipped up like you're on a balance beam, or you can heel toe your right foot toward the right edge of your mat, widening your stance here. Bring a gentle bend into that right knee. When you've found your stance, when you're pressing into your feet, you can send your hands up toward the ceiling. Again, option here to widen out your arms instead of keeping them zipped up to take up space here. Take an inhale here. Full exhale here. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, take your hands to clasp at your low back. As you inhale, reach your knuckles down towards the ground, open up across your chest. And then as you exhale, lean forward, finding your humble warrior. So your right shoulder can stay lifted here. This can be where you pause. Maybe your right shoulder rests on your right knee. Maybe your right shoulder comes on the inside of your right knee for an added challenge. Let your head be heavy here. Maybe shift your gaze to that back big toe. Draw your navel in. And then notice where your shoulders are in space. Think about bringing your shoulder blades together on your back. This is a challenge. Feel that heat building. Notice how you react to that challenge and come back to your breath. We're going to release this work. So release your clasp, bringing your hands down to your mat. Spin onto those back toes and reset, coming to your low lunge. So you might have to bring your right foot back towards the midline of your mat. We'll send the right foot back to meet the left. Take an inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale to come up for cobra pose or upward facing dog if you're feeling really razzy. Exhale to make your way back through hands and knees or pushing straight back to your downward facing dog. We're going to pause here for 2 rounds of breath, just to give yourself the opportunity to integrate whatever just happened, and then at the same time let go, because there's a whole new side, a whole new experience here. Good. On an inhale, sweep that left leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, draw your left knee in towards your nose, around through your spine. Inhale, reach that left leg up and back behind you. One more time like that. Exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose and step your left foot up in between your hands, finding your low lunge. Taking your time, helping that left foot to land where it needs to land. And then we'll keep that right hand down. Inhale, sweep your left hand up toward the ceiling, finding the twist. Working your right shoulder away from your ear. Where can you find some softness here, even though you're really working? As you exhale, bring that left hand down to your mat, and we're going to root to rise. So press down into your feet, and as you inhale, start to come up. Maybe you pause, hands at the top of your thigh, and when you found your steady stance, you can send your hands up toward the ceiling. Option to take that open, sort of Y-shaped arm here. Think about spiking your left heel higher up toward your right heel, higher up toward the ceiling. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lean forward, send your arms past your body. Inhale, sweep your hands up. One more time like that. Exhale, lean forward, send your arms past your body. Inhale, reach your hands back up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips and spin that back heel down, finding your warrior one on this side. So those back toes are at a 45-degree angle. You might widen your stance here. Press into your feet, press into the pinky toe side of that back foot. And when you're ready, send your hands up toward the ceiling, taking up space here. Drawing your navel in. Notice how it feels to take the shape. As you exhale, bring your hands to clasp at your low back, this time opposite thumb on top. Inhale to reach your knuckles down towards the ground. Exhale to fold forward, finding your humble warrior. So you can choose to stay lifted. Maybe left shoulder and left knee find each other. Maybe left shoulder comes on the inside of left knee. Thinking about a heavy head here, maybe shifting your gaze to that back big toe as you draw your navel in. Last thing to think about, drawing shoulder blades together on your back. Notice the work you're capable of doing here. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, release the clasp, bringing your hands down to the mat. Spin onto your back toes and reset, coming to your low lunge. Send your left toes back to meet your right, and we'll send the hips up and back, coming to your downward facing dog. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Deep inhale through your nose. Exhale it out through your mouth. One more time like that. Good. Inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Shift your gaze forward and walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding your forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway. Think long spine. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up, reaching your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, release your hands down by your sides. On an inhale, sweep your hands back up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, we're going to sink down into our chair pose. So if you've got any shoulder tension, feel free to cactus your arms here or bring your hands together in front of your heart center. And think about sending your seat back in space like you're actually going to sit down into a chair. Draw your navel in. Maybe lift up your toes, wiggle them, and set them down. Feeling the weight of your body evenly distributed in both balls of the feet and heels of the feet. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, fold it forward. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Send your left toes to the back of your space. And then we'll walk the hands around to the long edge of your mat. And we'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. And we'll just pause here for 2 rounds of breath. Maybe bringing your fingertips in line with your toes. Maybe taking your peace fingers around your big toes for a toe lock here. You might nod the head yes, shake the head no. And then release any work you might be doing, bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Walk your hands to the back of your mat. Send your left toes back to meet your right. Send your hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Take a deep full inhale through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. We'll meet in a child's pose, bringing your knees down. Walking the hands forward, bow your forehead towards the ground. And then once you arrive, always an option to bring your arms long down by your sides to release any tension in the shoulders. You might move your head here from side to side, massaging your forehead. Inviting that massage to release any tension that might have built up in the space between your eyebrows. Maybe separating the back teeth and wiggling the jaw here. Inviting tension to release from the face. And we'll slowly come up to a seated position. And if you need to reorient yourself because we're facing a different direction, you can just kind of switch around. We're going to come to a seated position with the legs out long, feet towards the top edge of your mat. Picking up the flesh of your seat so that your sit bones ground and root down into your mat. Flex your toes towards your shin, and as you inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward any amount. So noticing if you're reaching for a particular part of your body, maybe the toes, the ankles, the shins, the knees, and think about softening in this pose here. So doing less work, just sending your breath to the back body here. Take one more round of breath here. And we'll slowly press back up. And I'm going to turn and face you just so you can see. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. And your feet can be as close in towards you as you'd like, or they can be as far away from you as you'd like. The closer in you bring your feet, the more intense the sensation of stretch will be in the inner thighs. The further away, the lesser that sensation will be. And you'll grab hold of somewhere along your legs, and as you inhale, lengthen up through your spine. And then as you exhale, lead with your heart, hinging from your hips, keeping that lift there. And when you can't hinge forward anymore, you can choose to stay lifted, or you can choose to round in, tucking your chin towards your chest. Noticing where that sends sensation. So maybe staying in the rounded position, or maybe coming back to your more lifted position. And we'll stay here for 2 rounds of breath. And we'll slowly come back up. Bring the knees together. And then we'll come to lay down on the back. And you can keep your knees bent here. We're going to cross the right ankle at the left knee, flexing your left toes towards your shin. And this is going to bring some sensation of stretch into the outer right hip. You can choose to stay here. This might be plenty, or maybe start to draw your legs towards you, maybe bringing your hands to clasp at the back of your left thigh. If you're looking for more sensation, you can grab the top of your left shin. Maybe you press your right elbow into your right thigh, that inner right thigh, to help intensify the sensation of stretch. Flexing your right toes towards your right shin is going to help protect your right knee. And then we'll slowly release that work, bringing the left sole of the foot down onto the mat, and bring your right foot down to the mat as well. Noticing how right hip feels compared to left hip. Letting your low back kind of reset. Before coming to the second side, so you'll cross your left ankle at your right knee. Flex your left toes towards your shin, stay here. Or to go for more, start to draw your knees, your legs towards you, and maybe grab the back of your right thigh, or for more, the top of your right shin. Maybe finding that engagement here, working your left elbow in towards your left thigh. So there's a little bit of resistance here as you press elbow to thigh and thigh to elbow. Again, noticing any sensations, letting your head, neck, and shoulders be heavy here. Letting your tailbone be heavy here. Take one more round of breath here. And we'll slowly release that work, taking your time to bring both soles of the feet down onto your mat. And we'll just start to gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So they don't have to touch down to the ground. It can just be a gentle motion, inviting some release into the low back. And then next time your knees knock over towards the left, maybe allow them to fall all the way towards the left. And if it feels awkward in the low back, you can stack your knees one on top of the other, maybe shift your seat towards the right side of your mat a little bit more. Take a moment to really experiment with making this twist your own. And your arms can stay on your body here, especially if you're looking for more grounding energy. Or you can take your arms out into a T shape, or cactus the arms here, bending at the elbows. Let your arms be heavy. Let your legs be heavy. Maybe soften your gaze to a point on the ceiling that's not going to move, or close the eyes down. And imagine here that you're a towel being wrung out. Anything that is no longer serving you is being wrung out and released. You no longer have to carry it with you. Take one more inhale here. Full exhale here. And we'll come back through center, taking your time. You might press down into your feet to lift your hips up and set your spine back to neutral. You can bring the hands onto the body, noticing what happened on that side, and then just letting go of that observation. And we'll allow the knees to knock over towards the right. Again, you might take some time here to experiment coming more onto the right side of the body to stack your knees or maybe stagger your knees a little bit. Option to keep the hands on the body or open them out into a T shape or cactus the arms. This side might feel a little bit different. You might need to have a different take on this pose on this side. Knowing that that's normal. There is no part of you that is unwelcome here on your mat. Giving yourself permission to take whatever kind of twist you need to here. Knowing that in this twist, you're kind of massaging your internal organs. Twists are really detoxifying for the body. So you truly are doing your internal organs and your body some good. Take one more round of breath here. And when you've found a sense of evenness on both sides, you can start to unwind, releasing the twist. Bringing the soles of the feet down onto your mat, press down into them so that you can reset your spine to neutral. You can send your legs out long, soles of the feet towards the top edge of your mat here. And if laying on your back doesn't serve you, you can come to lay on your side, or you can come back to a seated position. So taking a moment here to just set yourself up, taking the variation of rest that serves you, and then scan the body here, noticing if there's any work that's still being done. Know that you can always make changes for comfort if you need to. And just starting to invite rest into your body. So pull your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. You can close your eyes down if they aren't closed already, or soften your gaze to a point on the ceiling that's not going to move. Unfurrow your brows. And rest here, truly giving yourself the permission to do nothing. Shavasana is an opportunity to take active rest. So we spent a lot of time rushing and doing. This is different from that, and it's different from sleeping. So really observing your breath here as it moves through you. And we'll just stay here for a few moments, breathing and resting. Good. Slowly start to deepen your breath, bringing yourself back to this space, back to your mat. If staying in stillness serves you, stay. Otherwise, you can start to take gentle movements to wake your body up, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, rolling ankles and wrists, moving the head from side to side. And you'll start to draw the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Slowly make your way over onto one side and pause before gently pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seated position with your eyes closed or your gaze downward to keep your focus inward. You might shift your weight here from side to side, so sit bones ground into the mat. And from that grounding sensation, feel your spine grow tall, the crown of your head reach up toward the ceiling. Sit back into yourself, stacking shoulders over hips, and notice how you feel now as compared to the start of our practice, coming full circle to this same seated position. Bring your hands together in front of your heart center and bow your head, bowing your thinking mind to your feeling heart and all of the wisdom that resides in that space. The light in me honors and bows to the light in each one of you. When you're ready, you can slowly lift your gaze and open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice and sharing your time with me. Let me know how this practice went for you in the comments section below, and we'll see you next time. Take care.